If you're a coach on social media, you've probably heard these words. Just share your story. And in your head, you thought, well, what friggin' story should I tell? Should I tell the one about my divorce? How I left my corporate job? Or maybe even that time I cried in the Walmart aisle because I couldn't find what I needed? Which story is the right story to tell on Instagram? And the truth is, not all of them need to be told. Not every story gets the likes that you want it to. Not every story is the right story for your business. Today, I'm going to break down what stories you should share, how you should share them, and how to make them actually grow your business. And I'll do this all through my signature style framework. Now, I know that we want to make your story the one they remember. So let's go. Welcome to another episode of the Story Lab. Today we're talking about what stories you should share, how you should share them. And we're going to actually work on this through my signature style framework. So that's what we're going to look at today. So number one, this is the biggest question I get. Do I need one big story, like my origin story, my founder story, or can I have a lot of smaller ones and just go with the smaller ones? Do I have to share everything in my life, or can I just share bits and pieces? And here's the answer. You need both. Your founder story is the anchor. That's what explains why you do what you do and why it matters to your audience. But you also need a bunch of little stories and little lessons and client wins and those moments when you go, aha, that's it. But the good news is you can tell your story over and over again. People don't remember it the first time. They remember it once they've seen it repeatedly, usually at least 7 times. Make it a reel, make it a graphic, make it a carousel, tell it in a podcast. Repetition isn't annoying, it's branding. It's how you get known for something. So share your story. As a matter of fact, I recommend you build a story file. And each of your stories, each of your main stories that you tell in your business, try to have a elevator pitch, a 3-minute version of it, and a keynote version of it. So you can share it in all those different ways whenever the time comes. All right. So the next question, and this is really about how it looks. So we're going to take a look at the visual of this. How do I make my stories engaging without writing a novel? And this ties into the picture, the video. You've heard picture shares 1,000 words. Your picture or your video is the story. So post something like a picture of your old cubicle in your corporate job. That is going to tell a story in and of itself. That's going to tell a story of being trapped, sadness, whatever you want it to tell. Or maybe you can post a screenshot of your first Stripe payment. Your first client paid you. Oh my God, this was amazing for you, and all the amazing things. You don't need to tell a 2,000-word story about it. All the emotions, all the connections, that's all in that video or in that photo. So sharing the visuals matter. And of course, format matters as well. Some stories belong in your reels because you need to get to the emotion. Some can be graphics when clarity matters. Not every story needs to have a long caption. You could even use a carousel format to tell a story. So pick the format that matches the moment and that story that you're sharing so that it works for you. All right. Now, this is another big question that I get. Which stories actually attract clients instead of just getting me sympathy likes? And this is actually a tricky question because it depends on how you're showing up. You see, some stories that make you human actually are going to land that client. Some stories that you wouldn't think would land you a client will help you get a client because they see you as human and they see you as somebody that gets them. So I shared this past week a story about my dog passing and how the dog who survives him is actually dealing with it. And that story, I'm not directly expecting it to get me clients, but that story is something that makes me human. and shows me as a human in my content. So that could get me some followers, me a client. But what you really want to focus on when you're looking to drive the point home for clients, you need to show them the transformation. And this is where I tell you, you got to show them the darkness and bring them to the light. It's that darkness and the fact that you understand their darkness, that before, and then you can show them that with your service, they're going to have light. You're selling happy. That happy is what they want. That happy is what they're after. So that's what's going to convert your clients. And that's stuff like what your clients achieve because of you, what they're going to get to because of you. If it's just drama, if it's just the darkness, if it's not showing them how you get to light, they're not going to buy because it looks like you don't know how to get them to that light. Now, you can share whatever stories you want. Just know that you want to position yourself as the guide. You want to help your audience and you want to show them that you can get them the results they're looking for. Those are the ones that are going to convert. The other stories, sure, you can share them, but they're not going to get you clients. All right. So the next question is, how do I share stories without feeling salesy? And so many people end the story with, buy my program now. 1 week left in my program. You don't need to do that. You don't need to say, comment, yikes, if you're ready to buy. You can just end the story with something simple like, if this is where you are, how can I help? You can not end it with a CTA. You could actually just talk about some of the things in your program. Tell a story about something in your program and how somebody's winning because of something in your program. Or share, my new report is out this week. We talk about this, this, and this. And if you're part of the signature membership, you're going to get this, this, and this. That's a soft sell. You're sharing a story, but you're not directly pushing them to buy. There's lots of ways you can do it. And then have a system for your stories. Know that you're going to tell different stories and what each of those stories is actually going to accomplish. When you share your founder's story, you want to inspire them. When you share a client win, you want to show them that they can get that win from your program. When you share a failure, you're showing that you're human. Have a system so that you're building connection with credibility. And most important, what's the balance between vulnerability and oversharing? So oversharing, all right, I'm going to be blunt here. Oversharing is when the story serves you. If the only purpose of that story is to serve you, you're oversharing. Storytelling and connecting and vulnerability is when you're serving the audience. It's not so you heal. It's so your audience learns. If you're serving you, you're oversharing. But if you're helping your clients, your audience, if you're showing them the next steps, if you're bringing them up, offering them a solution, that's appropriate. That's vulnerability. That's storytelling. Understand that there are two things. If the story serves you, you're probably oversharing. If the story serves them, you're telling a story. You're being vulnerable. You're reaching your clients. So before you hit post, ask yourself, am I sharing this to get support from my audience, or am I sharing this to offer support to my audience? Your audience doesn't need perfection from you, but they also don't need every detail of your diary. You want to keep some stuff to yourself. You should keep some stuff to yourself. It's normal. So make sure the story serves them. So what stories should you share? You should share the stories that connect, the stories that position you as an expert, the stories that invite people in closer. Those stories are the ones that are really powerful. And if you're ready to start designing your storytelling through the signature style system, please reach out to me. Comment on this episode and let me know you're interested in taking the next step. I'll help you build your system so your stories actually land with your audience and they don't just get likes, they get you clients. And if you enjoyed this episode, please do me a favor. Go to your favorite podcast platform, give us a rating, give us a like, give us a comment, whatever you can do on that platform, make sure you do it and let me know that you enjoyed this episode or there's something else you want to hear. Until then, let's make your story the one they remember.